This is Troy Aikman. You probably know him best as the former #1 overall pick of the Dallas Cowboys, a 3-time Super Bowl champion, and Joe Buck's broadcasting partner. Or from this photo where he looks like his face is literally melting. Or from this video of him crying after he learned he didn't get to call the Cowboys-49ers playoff game. This is Skip Bayless. You know Skip from shows like First Take and Undisputed, where he sits on one side of a table and engages characters like Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe in more or less prefabricated debates, where it's never Skip's turn.
Take me out, it's my turn! You told me it was my turn!
And you're probably wondering, what do these two have in common? Other than the fact that they've both been at Fox for half a decade and spent time with or covered the Dallas Cowboys. Well, it goes much, much deeper than that. A lot deeper. It involves a salacious book about the Cowboys, accusations of racism, and a rumor that the leading man for America's team was, in fact, a gay leading man.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
This is the story of a legendary feud between a Hall of Fame quarterback and the king of outrageous takes.
My turn!
Aikman versus Bayless. Today we go balls deep on That's Good Sports. You know the deal, subscribe. Today's episode is sponsored by Manscaped.com/goodsports. Not only is Manscaped the global leader in men's grooming and hygiene solutions, they have the best damn boxer briefs my buttocks has ever allowed to cradle its supple cheeks. Manscaped is the only reason I ever tried boxer briefs, and now it's all I wear. And that's despite Manscaped turning me down to be an official model for the boxer briefs for alleged boxer stuffing. That's all natural, guys. The new Boxers 2.0 are perfect for anyone, especially if you're physically active. They now have more than 6 color options with bundle options to save money with their 3-pack. Which features the jewel pouch to secure your most prized body parts. These boxer briefs keep your junk snug and feature a breathable design so you never chafe. Just use my link below or go to manscaped.com/goodsports to get 20% off your order. You can always get the Performance Package Bundle, which include a pair of the Boxer 2.0s. This story starts exactly where you might think, Dallas in the early 90s. You're probably familiar with the arc of Troy Aikman and the Dallas Cowboys. They were bottom feeders in 1989, but then prospered after trading Herschel Walker, who was getting way too political for them, and eventually built a Super Bowl winner in 92, 93, and 1995. What you might not know about Skip Bayless is that before he anchored a sensationalized debate show for over a decade now, he made a living as a print journalist. He moved from the Miami Herald to the LA Times and finally to the Dallas Morning News and the Dallas Times Herald. Believe it or not, Skip Bayless won Texas Sports Writer of the Year 3 different times between 1979 to 1986. Yes, the same guy who pounds the desk for Tim Tebow and shits on LeBron James every chance he gets was at one time an award-winning journalist. Even then, he was a contrarian, an antagonist, a shit-stirrer. He was the perfect precursor to the internet age, and it was fairly revolutionary at the time. He had a regular column that he faxed to readers for the low price of $99 per year. And in 1989, he even wrote his first book called God's Coach, a meditation on Tom Landry's years as head coach of the Cowboys. The book focuses mostly on Landry's flaws, not so much as a coach, but as a man and a leader. I'm working on a similar book currently about all of Mother Teresa's flaws as a woman. So thanks for the inspiration, Skip. Now Bayless's second book, The Boys, essentially predicts the tumultuous breakup between owner Jerry Jones and head coach Jimmy Johnson after their second Super Bowl win. And it made Bayless look like he knew what he was talking about. Now, once the Cowboys won their third ring in 4 years, this time under Barry Switzer, the market was primed for another Bayless literary heater. And this one was going to be a real headline grabber. There are a couple charged rumors in this book titled Hellbent, but here's the catch. Bayless doesn't outright say that these things happened. Oh, no. Instead, he merely notes that these rumors existed, that they were peddled by specific parties, and at some points ponders on the pages whether the rumors that he specifically mentioned are even newsworthy at all, which is a fair thing to wonder. Except that he's the one that brought the rumors to our attention in his book. He basically sources these rumors as having come from Barry Switzer and his camp, whoever his camp is. Bayless certainly took advantage of the fact that Barry Switzer and Troy Aikman did not have a good relationship. Now, the first couple of rumors would have been pretty damning if there were any evidence or substance that it happened. Keep in mind, making up rumors for the 90s Cowboys wasn't even necessary. That was a team that saw Michael Irvin stab his teammate Everett McIver with scissors because Irvin believed he had seniority and wanted McIver to get out of the barber's chair so Irvin could have his haircut first. That covered violence. What about sex and drugs? Well, the Cowboys had that in excess as well. Michael Irvin had a second house, deemed the White House, where players would go to party. And by party, I mean do tons of drugs and have even more sex. Irvin was arrested for cocaine possession. Offensive lineman Leon Lett was suspended an entire year for cocaine use. Skip Bayless had no need to make shit up. The Cowboys were a walking headline, but he did it anyway. According to Bayless, there was a rumor from Barry Switzer's camp that Aikman called wide receiver Kevin Williams the N-word. That's a pretty serious accusation. Bayless wrote that several in the Switzer camp thought Aikman had lost his head and used the N-word. The chapter was very deftly titled The N-word. It stems from a complaint made by former Cowboys defensive line coach John Blake, who at the time complained to Switzer that when Aikman yelled at teammates, he seemed to single out black players. That was an actual story at the time, and Aikman had teammates like Charles Haley and Michael Irvin come to his defense. Irvin dropping this amazing quote, "I'm as black as anyone could ever be, but I know Troy loves me. If you are a racist, if you hate some player and love some others, I guess we're all racists, but Troy loves me." The second rumor from Hellbent, again coming from Barry Switzer, allegedly, is that Aikman took a dive in a game against Washington. Why would he do that? Who the fuck knows? Bayless admits it's a stupid idea, but he still dives into the rumor and treats it like it's worth serious investigation. Bayless essentially capitalized on the bad relationship between Barry Switzer and Troy Aikman in the worst way possible. By the way, if you're interested in reading Hellbent, it is available in its entirety on Amazon. You can purchase it in paperback for $73.98. That's right, $73.98 for a book, which is the NFL equivalent of how much Jerry Jones overpaid Zeke Elliott. But the third rumor is the most pervasive, and it's the one people still remember to this day. 3-time Super Bowl champ Troy Aikman. Gay?
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
That's what people remember. Of course, Bayless didn't frame this as a direct accusation. Like everything else in the book, it came from the Switzer camp. The rumors of Aikman's sexuality take up 6 pages of this long book. Bayless can't really find anything to prove it and ends up saying stuff like, "What should the sexual preference of a pro athlete matter to a journalist?" Then he pretty much moves on. But Aikman? Oh no, he could not move on. Aikman ended up calling Skip Bayless and said, "I am not gay. How can I fight this?" Am I supposed to keep a girl around even if I don't care anything about her, just so I can keep everybody off my back? Troy, that's called a beard. Now, Aikman was pissed off that someone called him gay in print format. And Bayless was now getting upset that his 290-page book was being reduced to the 6 pages where he discusses the supposed inconclusive nature of Troy Aikman's sexual orientation. A similar thing happened to New York Mets catcher Mike Piazza in the early 2000s, when the New York Post twisted some words from Piazza's manager and, like Aikman, referenced an ominous rumor of homosexuality. And guess what? We're still doing that today with player rumors. But those usually have to be really out there to get noticed, like a certain player enjoying when a woman defecates on him. Nothing has changed other than the fact that there are more rumors now and more people covering sports via social media. Rumors come and go at lightning speed. And now the real news is usually more interesting. For example, a player like Carl Nassib can make news by becoming the first openly gay player in the NFL. And then a month later, his head coach resigns for his homophobic email sent a decade prior when they're brought to light. And then a week later, the head coach of the Jaguars can be caught ditching the team for some over-the-pant action. The crazy shit never stops. Sometimes it's hard to differentiate between what is a rumor and what is an actual story. But this book came out in 1996, and the biggest headline was about the rumor of Aikman being gay. Not the one where he called his teammate the N-word? That seems weird. If this book had come out in 2022 and not 1996, the main headline would have been the alleged N-word incident. Rumors of Aikman being gay never really held water because, well, look at him. How could God's QB be gay? On the other hand, it's easy to accuse a white guy who spent his formative years in Oklahoma of being racist. But since this was 26 years ago, we all gathered like flies to the gay rumor and ignored the racism part. I think today, that would be flipped. If I were to channel my inner Skip Bayless, I would have titled this video, Troy Aikman Would Rather Be Racist Than Gay. Then I would have waited for all of the networks to fight over giving me a show. But I'm classier than that. We all know, more or less, what's happened to these guys after being famous figures in Texas in the 90s. Aikman joined the Fox booth, where he quickly became the right-hand man to Joe Buck, and Skip Bayless joined ESPN in 2004, where he partnered up with Woody Page on a little show called Cold Pizza. Goddamn, that show ruled. Of course, Cold Pizza devolved into First Take, which consisted of 2 blowhards yelling at each other for 2 hours every morning. 2 dudes blowing hard is not my lifestyle, claimed Troy Aikman. Now, Troy still detests Bayless, and God knows the Dallas Cowboys don't need any more national attention, but it's crazy that we do not have those 2 cowboy lovers, and I mean that in a totally hetero way, Troy.
I agree with that.
That we don't see them together force-feeding us Cowboys propaganda on a weekly show via Fox Sports. In fact, when Fox hired Skip Bayless, this was Aikman's response. To say I'm disappointed in the hiring of Skip Bayless would be an enormous understatement, Aikman said. Clearly, who at the time was a Fox Sports president of national networks, Jamie Horowitz, and I have a difference of opinion when it comes to building a successful organization. I believe success is achieved by acquiring and developing talented, respected, and credible individuals, none of which applies to Skip Bayless. And that really pissed off Fox executives. Yes, they were mad at Troy Aikman, not the guy who accused Aikman of being gay, racist, and a cheater. At this point, Bayless was making more at Fox than Aikman was making when he was winning Super Bowls with the Cowboys. They were both immensely powerful broadcasters. Bayless locked in with Fox, signing a 4-year, $32 million deal in 2021. And that puts you firmly in the class of people who have dick-level microwaves in their kitchen. Aikman pulled the reverse Bayless and moved from Fox to ESPN, where he'll make $90 million over the next 5 years to call Monday Night Football next to his longtime partner, Joe Buck.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
What's the lesson in all of this? Well, My takeaway is that extremely irresponsible journalism will earn you a lot of money, as well as a few enemies. And before I wrap up, I'd just like to use this opportunity to say that I've heard a rumor. A rumor that Tom Brady always showers in a bathing suit. Which sounds weird until you learn it's because he is addicted to meth.
Everybody does it.
Also, Josh Allen.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Their balls the way that they like them.
Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. If you made it this far, please subscribe to this video. I've got another episode on the screen right now. You can click it to watch more.